Hello, everybody, and welcome here to the Sports Talk Network channel, and specifically here tonight, welcome to Talking Packers with Steve. As you can tell, we're in the Super Bowl championship hat for the Green Bay Packers a while ago. 2012, Packers winning Super Bowl, beating the Pittsburgh Steelers in Jerry World in Dallas, Texas there. So, fond memories as a Packer fan, and as a Packer fan, been lucky to have productive seasons for most of my life. And I know that's not the case for many fans of many organizations in the NFL, but for Green Bay, since Brett came and now with Aaron, having success and continued success, maybe not the dynasty like the Patriots winning Super Bowls with their Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, but still success and being able to always be in the mix from that point to this point here with our latest season with our rookie head coach and how well we did. But of course, we are on the heels of the NFL Super Bowl with the 49ers facing off against the Chiefs. Yes, the Packers made it to the NFC Championship game, but got our butts kicked just like we did in the regular season against the 49ers. And unfortunately, that happening again. But before I continue on talking about anything football, let alone the Super Bowl, let me welcome my guest for this evening here to talk NFL shop. Real deal, Jaden Steele. Hello, sir. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing all right, man. Getting ready for the Super Bowl coming up. About you?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as much as as the Packers not there, but they didn't deserve to be there because they didn't show up last or 2 weeks ago against the 49ers in the NFC
I
championship
feel that.
game, which is unfortunate because I thought with the time between the last time we played them and Aaron being his confident self, as quarterbacks are egotistical sometimes, saying that, oh, the next time we get them, we're gonna or get to face them, we're gonna get them. We'll be ready this time. And they weren't really ready. So, unfortunately, that was not the case in our favor for the Packers. But heading into this actual Super Bowl, um, how would you say your level of excitement be in regards to this matchup with the Chiefs and the 49ers for this matchup?
Well, being that we didn't get the rematch that everybody was wanting to see due to my team getting knocked off in the first round by the Titans, I'm a major Garoppolo fan. He rode our bench for the longest time. We traded off. He went to the Niners last season, and then he won out on those past 5 games for him. And then seeing Garoppolo go from the very beginning of the season to where he's at now, I'm actually really proud of them. They picked up a couple of defensive adjustments along the way with like Sherman. You had Garoppolo sitting there at the quarterback position and riding the bench for so long. He had to stand out, and everybody, critiqued him on can Garoppolo do it by himself. So I think Garoppolo this entire season has proved that he is a damn good quarterback for what he has done for the season. So I'm really looking forward to his Super Bowl debut as a starting quarterback. We all know that he has a ring with Brady, of course, but he was riding the bench. So I'd really like to see Garoppolo open up and become a distinctive quarterback for days upon end. And I'm going with the Niners on this one, man. Patty Holmes, I'll give him credit, and I'll give the Chiefs credit, but I'm going with the Niners on this one. So NFC is going to be the way for me this year.
And that's where I'm going to go as well. I'm going to go with the 49ers over the Chiefs. I see the 49ers being a more complete team. I see that defense being ferocious, even against a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes. They stay in their lane, they do their jobs, and everything, meaning that they're not going to be fooled or even attempt to be fooled by anything Patrick Mahomes would do. His creativity out of the pocket, play actions as well. Patrick is good, but I think the 49er defense and subsequently 49er offense being able to run down their throat and be able to maintain that throughout the entire game, and with that being able to win a championship for the 49ers. Um, and for myself, always cheering for the NFC team. And always going for the NFC team usually. Um, and here helps in the both ways because I think the Niners are going to win, believe they're going to win, and also want the 49ers to win. So with that, I definitely say that that's best for best obviously best for 49ers, but I think even for myself, even as a Packer fan, the 49ers beat us. And I'm always the fan that's if you beat my team in the playoffs at any point, whether a close game or not, then I want you to win the Super Bowl. You had to beat us to do it. So um, with that, going with the 49ers for the win, but certainly going to be a good matchup. And I think the biggest one is going to be with Richard Sherman, with Tyreek Hill. I think that matchup is going to be key in regards to 49ers success, let alone Kansas City's success in that. But otherwise, in regards to the matchup, in regards to actual matchups like that, like the Sherman, Tyreek Hill, or others, what do you think is going to be the biggest key for the 49ers success for them to get the win as you're predicting?
So, in order for the Niners to do this, like you said, you touched on Sherman. Sherman has to show up, whether they put him on Hill or not. If you go back to when the Patriots played the Chiefs, what they did, they isolated Hill. They put double teams on him. They forced you to use other weapons around your offense in order to beat them. So you need to isolate Tyreek Hill. You need to keep him out of the game as much as you can. This man's going to catch passes. He's going to get open. His speed is going to kill you. So I'm going to look for double teams constantly the whole game. Sherman has to perform top notch. He can't just sit there and just half-ass show up. He's going to have to make that defense move. And not only on top of that, but the key to the Niners, Garoppolo and Kittle are going to have to hook up. Kittle's going to have to show that performance that he did weeks back when he was sitting there running down that sideline with his game on the line, pushing and trucking and throwing people out of his way. I want to see that Kittle show up at game day. I want to see them run the rock. They got to pound that rock. They got to get Kittle involved, and Sherman has to show up on defense for the Niners to be successful like they normally are.
Yeah, I think all around. I think I think Kittle, who subsequently being a wrestling fan himself, big supporter of WWE and wrestling overall. I know I watched the NFL on Fox, WWE on Fox kind of thing with Roman Reigns and King Corbin interviewing their team because Baron Corbin, is a Kansas City Chiefs fan.
Right.
And Roman Reigns is a 49ers fan. So not only have they done battle in the ring lately in their beef in their storyline, also here in the NFL world, they're battling with their teams, with the 49ers and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So I found that kind of cool. For me personally, as a fan of Baron Corbin. So though I'm still going with the 49ers, I wouldn't be upset if the Chiefs won. I'd be happy for Andy Reid, and I think he well deserved to win a Super Bowl. But more so, I just think that the 49ers are just too much to be able to match. And I don't think the Chiefs are going to be able to sustain because all their games in the playoffs, they have been down. And as great as they are to come back because of Pat Mahomes, the 49er defense and the 49er team is a different beast in their own way. And if you get down to the 49ers, there is slim chance, no matter who you are, to come back. So Aaron wasn't able to do it. Others weren't able to do it. And I don't think Patrick would be able to do it. So I think if the 49ers be able to get a good lead, even a 10 or 13-0 lead, start off the game, start up hot, I think the Chiefs, though, can make a comeback. I think they're pretty much done for. And I think the 49ers would be able to glide easy. So for Super Bowls, I don't know if you're having a party or if you're just watching by yourself or whatever. Do you rather have a Super Bowl that is close and nerve-wracking and anxiety, or a blowout where it's more relaxing, no matter if it's your team or not, that you choose to pick the win, and more relaxing, you can enjoy the party or by yourself or whatever you're doing for the game?
With the Super Bowl, man, I've always been a big fan of entertainment, so I don't want to see a blowout going into it because both of these teams have come in and they fought their ass off and they've scratched and clawed all the way through. the regular season, the postseason, and then they make it to the grandest stage of them all. So, going with the whole Super Bowl aspect of it, I would rather it be back and forth, neck and neck, because with me, as far as entertainment goes, I don't want to see a blowout. You see a blowout, then you're gonna kind of be like, well, you're only gonna look forward to the commercials at that point, and you're only watching it because you're a fan. But going neck and neck, it just brings the atmosphere alive. Everybody around you just starts like getting into it, whether you're for this team or that team, and it just you get a better like entertainment perspective and a bigger value of being a football fan. I'd rather see it go back and forth than rather it be a big blowout. So I'm going to predict the Niners win the game by 10 points at the end with a crucial decisive field goal that's going to shift the tides.
What's up, fellas?
Hello.
What's going on, Chris?
What's up, Jaden? What's up, man?
Hi, Chris. Welcome to the show. I guess just to throw you right into the conversation, how do you see for yourself the Super Bowl going, and who do you think is ending up with the win?
I'd probably have to say the 49ers.
We are heavy 49ers right here.
They've had a hell of a season this year, man. Like, legit had a hell of a season this year. Like, and they done it without Kaepernick, so go figure.
Barry and Kaepernick, he ain't on the team anymore.
Nah, man. I like Kaepernick though, man. I like Kaepernick. I thought he was a hell of a quarterback, but everybody has a reason for doing what they do. But I mean, I'd have to say the 49ers, man, because outside of the Saints, I'm a 49ers fan.
And I think, with Kaepernick not even needing him in the last game against my Green Bay Packers and only having to throw 8 passes and be able to still steamroll us because of their running game. Mm-hmm. So I know a lot of people are talking about, well, you probably would have a better bet with the better quarterback in Pat Mahomes against Garoppolo. Like, that's a no contest to most people. But again, this is a team game. I think the San Francisco 49ers as a team, defense, offense, special teams, etc., are just better. And yeah. I think that will show on Sunday night.
See, I disagree with the whole Patrick Mahomes Garoppolo scenario. We're talking about, Patrick Mahomes has a lot of fans behind him on a bandwagon. But if we break it down and we go back to Garoppolo, not very many people know the statistics or how Garoppolo has came about. Garoppolo has been to the grand stage. He's watched it firsthand. He's been played back up to the greatest quarterback in NFL history. So he's been in a systematic type team. So you take all of this into consideration. He knows what it takes to get the job done. Now he's putting himself in his own cleats to start that game and go from beginning to the end on it. So Patrick Mahomes, if you watch his games, you can clearly see in like crucial key moments of these games. I can name off 5 different times off the top of my head. Patrick Mahomes has literally crapped the bed when it comes to a clutch moment. He's had his clutch moments, yes, but when it comes down to it, Patrick Mahomes does not have the IQ of a grand stage presence quarterback. He generally ends with a lob down the field and hopes one of his receivers grabs that thing, and that makes his big plays. He catches his big plays through heavy yardage going downfield. Garoppolo, he's a systematic quarterback that knows how to get the job done. He knows whether to pound that rock, pass that ball, short, mid, low, it doesn't really matter. He has the knowledge to pull this off. Now he's in the hot seat with all these critics behind him. Now we're going to see if Garoppolo is going to be that name brand quarterback, or is he just going to be the guy that always falls underneath Brady's shadow? So he's got a lot to prove going out to this game, and I hope to see big expectations from Garoppolo himself.
Same here. And before I continue on, I'll let Chris, what are your thoughts on this Garoppolo versus Patrick debate, where to most people it's not a debate at all?
Experience beats youth any time of the day, man.
Amen to that.
You learn that, and just about everything you do, man. I know me personally, I learned that with being in the business. You can have all the youth you want, man, but having the know-how and being to the big stage and having all the experience, man, is gonna beat youth anytime. Because the thing about youth, man, is you have to earn the same experience. So that's just my take on it, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Mahomes is a hell of a quarterback, dude. When the
Right.
pocket collapses, he can use his feet and get away. So, I think if if the Chiefs are smart, man, if the Chiefs are smart, they'll they'll let the veteran QB come in, do his thing for a little while, and then when they get comfortable, if they get comfortable, you put Mahomes in there, man, and let him do his thing.
Yeah, I think it's going to be crucial for the Chiefs, in my opinion, to be able to sustain a running game if they're going to have any chance of having a good passing game for the game. Because if that's obviously if that's not the case and you're one dimensional, the defense can kind of pin their ears back, kind of being a 4-3 defense, be able to be more relaxed in his own scheme coverages as well, and just be able to send their own hounds of justice, their defensive ends after the quarterback, and Mahomes will just be that meat that they go after. Blood, a shark after blood. You know what I mean? Blood in the water, sort of thing. What I kind of mean by that metaphor. But the point is they're not able to have or sustain or at all any type of running game. Then for the Chiefs offense and being dimensional, even to a good or great quarterback that is Pat Mahomes, that 49er defense is just going to destroy you. And the game will be a blowout, and it will be like the Broncos Seahawks Super Bowl that started off with that how it started off with Peyton and the missed snap, and how it was over by halftime. So if Kansas City can't get their stuff straight, then the same thing, maybe just like the Green Bay game, it'll be over by halftime, and it will unfortunately be a blowout in favor of the San Francisco 49ers. Because I don't want to blow out either. I want it to be a close game. Yes, I want the Niners to win, but I want the Chiefs to battle. I want it to be close. I want it to come down to the end, blah, blah, blah. But like I said, the Chiefs can't sustain any type of running game with either of their two-headed monsters of running backs, then it probably will be that otherwise. And in regards to Patrick Mahomes and Jimmy Garoppolo, or as Stephen A. Smith calls him, porn star Jimmy, I think that Garoppolo deserves a little bit more respect, because I think this is going to be the game where he shows up and shows out. It is going to be the game where he shows that he is as good in his way than as Patrick is in his own. So I think Garoppolo is going to show that, hey, I can be relied on to throw this ball, right? I don't always have to run it, but he doesn't care either. And I think the biggest thing that helped the 49ers get over the hump to be able to go to the Super Bowl, beyond the draft picks of who they got, Kittle and others, Bosa, was the acquisition of Sanders from the Denver Broncos, wide receiver. I think his presence in the offense and his adding to it, and just how he has done and how he's blended in so seamlessly to this offense and to the wide receiving core, I think has been the single biggest thing the 49ers did in regards to transactions, for this season. And I think Emmanuel Sanders, beyond other reasons, of course, is one of the reasons they're in the Super Bowl. And I think if he shows up and shows out, and again, talking about Jimmy Garoppolo showing out, Sanders could be the MVP of the Super Bowl, because I think he can be the ace in the hole. He can be the wild card. He can be that guy. Garoppolo shows that he can throw it, that he can match this Chiefs defense that is ferocious. You got Honey Badger back there, Tyrann Mathieu. Jimmy ain't scared. He's been a Patriot, New England Patriot. So he ain't scared of nothing. So I see that to be the case just as much as their running game has been on point. But yeah, I guess another thing to ask in regards to the game, in regards to what you both are thinking. in regards to the Chiefs defense, in regards to Garoppolo, I'll go to Chris first. What are your thoughts in regards to the Chiefs defense and how you think they would need to be able to stop Garoppolo? Because as much as people say it's not a contest between Pat and Jimmy, you still have to watch out for Jimmy to show up because you don't want to be surprised.
Yeah. My thoughts on that, man, is just play the same play defense like they've been playing all year, man. They made it to the big show for a reason. You know what I mean? I mean, the Chiefs came to play this year, man, just like the 49ers. I mean, this year, or I should say, last year or whatever. Um, a lot of teams came out of the shadows, man, that everybody just forgot about. Everybody was so caught up on the Patriots and, all these teams that you hear about all the time. The 49ers and the Chiefs came out of nowhere, man, surprised everybody. But, as far as the Chiefs go and the Super Bowl coming up and the defense they need to play, I would say play defense like they've been playing, but amp it up, man, because it's called the big show for a reason. It's the Super Bowl for a reason. And that's really just my thoughts on that.
That's all right. Jaden?
See, I don't understand why people are trying to compare Garoppolo and Mahomes. Yeah, it's no debate if you want to look at it on a statistical sheet. You're right. It's not a comparison. You're talking about a guy that rode the bench to the greatest of all time compared to a guy that actually got to get on the field and get experience with it. But Jimmy Garoppolo didn't. It ain't no surprise. It ain't no coincidence. The man showed up to play. He has a chip on his shoulder. He has something to prove. He was a backup that has to prove that he earned his starting role with the 49ers. This man goes out, makes it all the way to the Super Bowl. You don't want to give him credit where credit's due? That's fine. Let's see how he does at the big stage that only him, out of both quarterbacks, have knowledge and experience with being at a Super Bowl. Granted that he played backup, he still has been there. He still knows what it takes, and he still has that presence over youth and experience like Matthews was picking up on. Now the Chiefs, in order to win this, keep it close at least, they're going to have to limit Sanders. Sanders cannot just run off and just catch everything under the face of this earth. They're going to have to limit him on yards. They're going to have to double team Kittle. Kittle is this year's NFL's best tight end. No debate. Best tight end in the league this season. You're going to have to double that man. You cannot let this man just run all over you. When he catches the ball and takes off, he breaks tackles. It doesn't matter. Once he gets his hands on it, one or two guys are going down before you get Kittle to the floor. He's proven that weeks ago when he drug four guys along the sidelines for a 30 or a 40-yard, run on that. That was a phenomenal play. Another thing the defense is going to have to do, they're going to have to tighten up. They got a running game. So whenever they pass that rock, you're going to have to play and pinch that line or subtly get the left or the right. Don't let them get outside of your comfort zone. Don't let them bounce them off with tosses. Control that line. Control that line. Keep Kittle limited and don't let Sanders run all over, because those are your two keys right there, because they'll get you all confused and all disoriented with Kittle and Sanders. And then here comes that pounding that rock. And once they pound it down your throat and he starts gaining those 5 to 8 yards of carry, here comes a short pass or a dump over the middle to Kittle or Sanders. And then it's a whole nother game, because now you're stuck second guessing yourself. Is it a pass or a run? You can't isolate yourself to a one-dimensional defense. It's not going to work against the Niners.
Yeah. I mean, in regards to watching Kittle, he just reminds me of what Gronk was for the Patriots. And,
right.
And being that game changer. I mean, Gronk was that final drive in regards to last year with the Patriots beating the Rams, being the reason they won in regards to clutch plays and catches in that Super Bowl previous season. So I think for the 49ers, I think, getting Kittle for them for success, and for the Chiefs, like you said, to be able to stop him, stop the passing game as much as the running game, and how well the 49ers are, because they have more than just one guy that can run the ball down your throat. So you have to watch out for them both. But in regards to the Super Bowl, as we gave our predictions, we all are going for the 49ers. We'll see how that goes with
Yeah, we're all just gonna end up like Chiefs win.
with every low, excuse me. But another topic I wanted to bring up is in regards to talk about the greatest of all time in regards to quarterbacks, Tom Brady, and if he's going to stay in New England or if he's going to go to L.A. Will Tom Brady be an L.A. Charger? Will he be a Tennessee Titan? Where is Tom Brady going to go? Will he want to stay in New England? Is it just time for the dynasty to end? Is the dynasty over? And is it there you go. But we'll start with Chris. What are your thoughts on Tom Brady? Where do you think he'll be for the next season?
I'll tell you, man. I'm a Brady fan, man. Brady's my guy. But I don't think he's gonna play too much longer, no matter where he goes. I mean, Tom Brady's just done about everything you can do in football, man. And he's getting older, and his body can't take the beating like it used to. Now I would say that me personally, I would like to see Brady end up in LA somewhere, man, whether it be the Chargers or whether it be the LA Rams. I'd like to see him play for the Rams, to be honest.
Jane, where do you think Tom's gonna end up?
I think Tom retires or stays with the Patriots, ends his career in New England.
Yeah.
I can see that. I mean, I see more retirement for Breeze than I do for Brady. I think Brady, if he doesn't see the right fit anymore to stay in New England, he'll go somewhere else, prove to himself, prove it to New England, prove it to whoever else he wants to prove it to internally, that he still has it and he can still win a championship. And he doesn't need Belichick to do it. He can do it on his own, gosh darn it. So,
well, there is trade rumors that Breeze was in talks of the Rams and the Patriots of going over there. So the chances are very slim Breeze comes to New England unless Brady retires or I guess like goes down the road. I don't see Brady switching to a different team when he's only going to have a year or two most left underneath his belt. When you say New England Patriots, you think of Tom Brady. That's his team. Classic traditional American football tradition. You play for your team you started on. You end your career there. The man's done everything under the face of this earth. He has nothing else to prove. Yeah, he didn't win his Super Bowl and, et cetera, et cetera. But the point of the matter is the man's got everything that he needs. He's already shown that he's the best on turf as far as the quarterback position goes. I'll dispute that and fight anybody to the day we die on, who the greatest of all time in the quarterback slot is. At the end of the day, you can't add up to what Brady's accomplishments are. So sit down is my is my logic on that. But like I said, if no one, the Patriots, ever since I was a kid, I followed the Patriots and I followed the Falcons. And seeing the way Brady played with passion and how he feels about football, I don't really see Brady going down the road to another team unless there's some kind of heat in the back as far as personnel go. I really do see Brady hanging up the jersey or playing one more season with the Pats and then calling it quits.
yeah. No, yeah, I get that 100%. I mean, you had as in regards to the greatest of all time, and Joe Montana, who played all the years of the 49ers winning Super Bowls, and then went to the Chiefs, took them to the AFC Championship game. And I, remember
give
that.
Jerry Rice some credit though for that.
Yeah, no, he definitely deserves credit for that.
That's the greatest wide receiver of all time. So
you got the greatest QB, the greatest wide receiver together. It's magic's gonna happen. So, but with him, as he even tweeted out in regards to a guarantee his team's going to win the Super Bowl because he has the Chiefs and the 49ers on Sunday with his teams. A lot of, Hall of Fame quarterbacks that continued on with different teams. Brett Favre with Green Bay.
Yeah, he was an original Falcon, actually.
Yep.
An original Falcon.
Yep. Brett Favre, or however they pronounced his name. And then he went to Green Bay, then to the Jets and the Vikings. So
Did you call him Brett Favre?
no, they did when they drafted him. The Falcons,
Yeah,
and,
that was one hellacious favor they got. I'll tell you that.
and then the head coach in Atlanta called him that, Brett Favre, and I was like, okay. But anyways, but with Brett and then with other quarterbacks as well, Philip Rivers, who's kind of gone out of LA with the Chargers, might be. I've been hearing rumors that if Tom does not stay with New England, he might come to New England for a 1 to 2 year rental in New England, so we could see Philip Rivers as a Patriot. So
I would not want to see that. Philip Rivers is not the move for New England. I would see Breeze fitting that slot over Rivers any day of the week. Rivers is too inconsistent, and Rivers, it just feels like when he's down in the game, if you watch him play, all of his spirit gets sucked out of the stadium, and it's just like he falls down. He doesn't try to do anything extra. If you just put a fingertip on him or a fingernail, he just wants to fall over and just give you the down. Like, no, get out of New England with that. Don't come to New England with that. I'm going to cry if you come to New England with that. And as much as a Patriot fan as I am, I will not put a Rivers jersey over my back any day of the week if he becomes our starting quarterback.
I'm a Breeze guy, man. I like Breeze almost as much as I like Tom Brady.
Much rather see him show up for New England.
I'm gonna tell you something, man. I was upset when the Saints didn't make it to the Super Bowl, but Breeze had one hell of a year, man.
Hell, he was battling Brady. They're going back and forth on a few of those records. I mean, you're talking about the two guys that are like, fighting for that record. So,
yeah, and I know in regards to how the Saints seasons have ended in the last couple of years in regards to playoff situations, Minneapolis Miracle, non-pass interference, the other non-pass interference against the Vikings, so twice against Minnesota, different years, of course. So unfortunately for the Saints and for Drew, I've never been that big on Drew Brees. I know a lot of people were upset with Drew not being part of the all quarterback stuff and this and that, but I didn't see a fit for him to be part of that. I think the quarterbacks that they had part of that did include Brett was right. And I think Breeze or Philip Rivers or Eli Manning or any of those deserved to be part of it. I don't know. I'm not going to say he's overrated. For me personally, just not one of my guys. I mean, not. I don't see him being on the level of other quarterbacks, be the level of Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, in regards to levels of a Ben Roethlisberger, in regards to level of the quarterbacks. I think he might be top second tier to me, but even with that, I respect him, and whatever his decision is, whatever. But just for me, I'm just not the biggest fan. So, but either way, we'll see how this whole quarterback carousel goes, let alone with the coaching carousels and everything that happened there.
Your top 5 quarterbacks right now, from best to worst, that are currently playing. Go.
Brady, Breeze, Rodgers, Mahomes, and my creative quarterback on Madden.
My created quarterback on Madden. Is that
There
what
you
he
go.
just said?
I think you did.
Yeah, your 99 overall don't count.
Beast.
Nah, I don't got no top. I don't really got no fifth quarterback, man. That's the only 4 quarterbacks I really like.
Yeah, but see, with the whole Breeze and Rodgers debate, see, that's a toss up for me. I almost want to go Rodgers over Breeze simply for the fact that with Rodgers is clutch. And I mean clutch in like prime time games. Like, especially that man has been known for the Hail Mary, and I don't know how many quarterbacks that could ever have pulled that off. And I don't know if it's more luck on his side when those balls just fall or what, but you can't count him out. And not only that, but if you want to talk about clutch quarterbacks, you got to go to Deshaun Watson from the Texans. Yeah, the man's young and he ain't really done much, but that man is already on the brinks of beating the record on most games for comebacks. I mean, the man knows how to get the job done at the end. It's just if he can figure out all the pieces, you might got something there. Like pick up from where Michael Vick, Warren Moon, and all the big time African American quarterbacks like took off back in the day. Because how many scramblers like Vic and all them do you see now in the NFL that are actually great? Because they all end up with injuries and they all cut their careers short because they all sit there at some point in time, scramble out of that pocket, and then here comes an injury. Like Mahomes, for instance, that's what took him out of the game. And the whole irony of that was my uncle is the biggest Chiefs fan ever. And he just came down that week and we were watching the Chiefs. And I don't know why, but I was sitting there thinking about it. And he was bragging, doing all of his thing, talking up the Chiefs. And I was like, you know what? Watch. One of these days, old Patty Holmes going to roll out of that pocket. He's going to put himself on the sidelines, and that's going to be your Chiefs. They're going to be done. And sure enough, that game it happened. He got injured, and, El was like, ha, 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 he. And then later on, here comes the postseason, and then he gets the ultimate laugh because my team gets put out, and his is going to the Super Bowl. So at the end of the day, he got the last laugh on me. But Jimmy G's going to pull through and show Patty Holmes that he needs to sit down.
Yeah, he's and I think that's going to be his biggest motivation because I think even above just proving himself, just above being battle tested, even as a backup in regards to being in that moment, being at Super Bowls, winning a Super Bowl as a backup with the New England Patriots. I think above that, he'll have that chip on his shoulder, a monkey on his back, like Steve Young did for different reasons, of course, but still a monkey on his back. Him doing it without New England, him doing it on his own as a starter, doing it in San Francisco, team that most people didn't see coming this season, let alone what they even did last season before he got injured against the Chiefs, ironically. So I think for Jimmy Garoppolo, I think the biggest thing that's going to be his motivating factor to kick butt and take names on Sunday night is going to be that mentality of showing the haters or showing people that he can get it done, that he can throw it, that if relied upon and need to, he will do that and will do that very well. That he's not just going to be scared. He's not going to freeze in the moment. Okay, so I think that's going to be the biggest thing that I think is going to shine on Super Bowl Sunday. Whether he wins the MVP or not for the Super Bowl, whatever. I'm sure he doesn't give a what about it. He just wants to win, obviously. So, but I think that's going to be the biggest thing for him is that motivation of just shutting people up and showing out and showing that he deserves to be there just as much as Patrick Mahomes in regards to the conversation. Because during this week already, sports talk to people in the business of sports, saying about Garoppolo, giving him no faith. That's why most people are going with the Chiefs to win the game because who do you pick, Mahomes or Garoppolo? Okay, obviously we're going with Mahomes. So that's where their balancing act goes in their own predictions and their personal opinions, which I do respect everyone's opinion.
We all know Steve needs to be on ESPN. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I would like to be part of the worldwide leader, but
yeah, get in there on that argument.
I can. Hey, I'm not scared of Stephen A. or Max.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. Like, get in there and start that debate because I'm so sick of hearing some of them are so Patty Mahomes, man, and I'm just like, y'all gonna find out the hard way. We already see, history repeats itself, and take a look at all the scrambling quarterbacks in the NFL history, and look what happens to them.
Yep, and even more so in regards to, of course, us having more respect and belief in Jimmy Garoppolo, that when he does show what he's capable of as a quarterback on Sunday, that it won't surprise us. But as I always say, defense wins championships. So I think the 49ers defense is going to be the biggest thing too. So, both sides of it, both sides of the coin. And I think the 49ers, the more and more I talk about it, the more and more my head is saying to predict this game as a blowout for the 49ers. I don't want that, but the more I talk about it, the more we talk about in regards to Jimmy Garoppolo, in regards to the defense and all that stuff, it just seems to me personally that it may go that way. And for me personally, I don't mind blowouts. I'd rather not, but I don't mind them. But either way, hopefully it is a good game, and the um, hopefully the Chiefs can make it interesting, make it close. If they can make it close, then they have a chance, of course, to win. I think it's all about how it starts. Again, the biggest factor, even more so than your own playing ability, is how you take in the moment of being there in the Super Bowl, the starting of the game. That's why I think the 49ers can get off to a big lead because of you have a Jimmy Garoppolo and others part of that team. Now, the Chiefs do have Terrell Suggs, a veteran leader on defense. They do have some players that are Super Bowl tested in their own right. But I think for the 49ers, as they being an actual, seems like a family as a team, I think is going to be its own contributing factor to the start of the game. And then from there, when everybody is settled and get their feet set and all that such stuff, then their play is going to show, as it always does. And then the 49ers can attack in that sense from there. But, anyways, I guess to say as we finish off talking about the Super Bowl, our predictions as we did, and other NFL news. I'm trying to think if there was any other NFL stuff to talk about. Not that I can think of. The last thing I wanted to bring up, though, before we say adieu, is your guys' thoughts, if you have any, um, on the passing of NBA superstar Kobe Bryant.
Oh
He passed
man.
away on Sunday on the helicopter crash with his 13-year-old daughter and 8 others, or 7 others. So not just Kobe and Gigi, but 9 people losing their lives and affecting many families. But just want to get your each individual's thoughts on the tragedy that befell the sports world in regards to Kobe and Gigi. We'll start with Chris.
Uh, man, it's sad, man. Kobe was one of my greatest inspirations, not only in basketball when I played, but for everything that I've done. Even with wrestling, man, even being a wrestler and doing what I love to do. Kobe was one of the people that inspired me to chase that dream. You
Yeah,
know,
those motivational speeches that he would have after the game, man, that would just hype you up.
man, and my thoughts and prayers go out to his family. I can't imagine what they're going through. I got 2 girls of my own, man. Um, I can't imagine what it was like for him in those final moments, man, knowing that he couldn't do nothing to save her. And I can't imagine because as a parent, if I found myself in that position, man, that would terrify me, you know, knowing that there's nothing I could do except hold my daughter, man, and try to comfort her and in those last moments and everything. My thoughts and prayers go out to the other victims as well. You know, people only talk about Kobe and Gigi and things like that. And I don't want to sound like an a-hole or anything to nobody, but Kobe gets more coverage because Kobe was Kobe, because he was famous. You know, but the thing is, man, those other people that was there with him, they had families too. People miss them too, and they was just as important as Kobe was. Not taking away from Kobe because I used to love to watch Kobe play, man, and you know, as a kid growing up, and even now as an adult, man, when I throw something in the trash, Kobe,
Kobe.
Yeah,
and it's like it's just it's not the same anymore, man. It don't feel the same. But I'm gonna send my prayers out to everyone that is involved with that. Um, my condolences. And I'm just gonna continue to chase my dream, man, and always remember the things Kobe said and remember him for who he was as not only as a basketball player, man, but as a human, as a man, as a father, as a husband. You know, his life got cut short, man. And, I truly believe Kobe was in his prime and being retired, man. You know. Um it's still kinda all surreal because we all thought this day would never come, and now man it's sad, it's heartbreaking and I try to tell people, man, don't mourn Kobe's death, but celebrate Kobe's life, man, for all he accomplished.
Mhm.
And everyone else too. So that's my thoughts on that.
All right, yeah. And before we go to Jane, I'll just give my quick thoughts in regards to beyond what you're saying. Like for me, in regards to being an uncle, I'm an uncle to a nephew and stuff. Like how I would react if something happened with my sister and my nephew, and how that would affect me greatly, obviously. So my thoughts and prayers, of course, going to the families of all the families that are affected. With her horrific tragedy that happened fell on Sunday, um, and just the Mamba mentality, something that drove me during my life continuously, whether as an older kid, following Kobe Bryant's career, when I was in the military, and just in life in general for myself. Um, always striving for perfection, but knowing that you're never going to get there, but always trying to get to that point. Being focused. I'm always maybe in a stubborn way, but always focused and wanting to when I set out to do something, I'm going to get it done, and I'm going to accomplish it, well, no matter how long or how short a time it'll take. That laser focus, that not caring of other people's opinions of you. That's been harder for me, but still, trying to take that from Kobe Bryant, and now from his passing, I've been watching some YouTube clips of his interviews, and him speaking about the Mamba mentality and about how he is or how he was,
Great
in regards to
speaker.
his mentality as a person. So I think that is the biggest thing I take from the late Kobe Bryant. The most is that Mamba mentality and how I wanted to um, enjoy my life, but also um, reach for the stars in regards to my goals that I've talked about in the past. So I'll throw it to Jaden. Your thoughts in regards to Kobe Bryant and others.
That was the most like tragic, devastating news for like I'm a major basketball fan. Like when it's not football, I'm watching basketball. Like my old man and like a few others, they're not really into like the whole regular season and all that. I'll even watch a regular season. Like I'm a major basketball fan, and coming from my perspective of everything, I'm a diehard Laker fan to the end. Like, in basketball, Lakers was my team. I hated when they went against the Celtics. Like I was diehard like against the Celtics, Lakers all the way. And then if it wasn't the Lakers, then the Miami Heat. But regardless, like Kobe was everything, man. If you're a Lakers fan and you said you hated Kobe Bryant, then like get out of here with that. And when I heard the news that he was dead, I didn't believe it. I was like, haha, that's a sick joke. Like it kind of like irritated me a little bit. And they're like, no, come watch the news. And then I went out there and looked at the news and like and seen like it was like surreal. I was like, wow. And I just sat there and took like a deep breath for a minute and just like thought about it for a second. And I was like, one of the greatest to ever step foot on the court literally got his life cut short whenever he was enjoying his life. And his daughter came in to her teenage years. She really didn't even get to enjoy her life. She had so much more ahead of her. And I can't speak for being a father figure, but like I love kids to death. Obviously, being in the business that I'm in. But like, well, and then all those souls that didn't get talked about either. Everybody deserves to be praised and like remembered and mourned. But as far as like one of my basketball idols, going out like that, it was kind of heartbreaking because it was like that's who I grew up watching. That was my guy. NBA, it was like that's the dude that I got behind. It was him and Vince Carter. Those are the two guys that I like the most. And when he died and all that, more into like I even went back and like on my YouTube, like I watched the game where he dropped 80 on the Raptors. That was my favorite game of all time, my favorite Kobe moment. Like the man came out there to play and he broke records that night, and just being able to score that and coming, less than 20 points away from, the 100-point record in the NBA. It was just wow, this ain't gonna happen anymore. And going back to, the Celtic and the Laker finals and watching him, overcome and drop those buckets and, win his rings and watching those interviews. The man had so many motivational interviews to where you could relate to this guy. What depending on whatever sport you were in, you could relate to him. He would push you, he'd motivate you, he'd want you to he'd light a fire under your ass. And for that mentality, you got to thank the guy for it. And he's gone, but he's damn sure ain't gonna be forgotten. And hopefully, the players in the NBA going down the road will pay tribute to him and homage and rock the or retire the number or pull like some of his signature moves on the court or do something to remember him by, because just because he got sold short, I'd really like to see like bits and pieces of Kobe still in the NBA. You know what I mean? I feel like his legacy is never going to be forgotten, but I feel like his shadow should be upon the NBA at all times.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I know I've seen the tributes, or I'm sure we all have, in regards to NBA players and what they've done, the NBA teams, 8-second, 24-second violations in honor of Kobe Bryant. Also, players changing their uniform number, moving forward from 8 or 24 to a different number in respect to Kobe Bryant.
And Mark Cuban retiring Kobe's number over in Dallas. That was really nice of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know there's been talk, if they're like you talked about, regards to the league-wide retiring of one of his numbers or both, NBA league-wise, and throughout all the teams there, and also been talk about changing the logo from the silhouette of Jerry West to the silhouette of Kobe Bryant. So
yeah, I would like that.
Another thing that's been thrown out there. But seeing Shaquille O'Neal speak on it, and his comments and everything about how he regrets, and as he talked about, and we kind of did this well about always to bury the hatchet, to reach out to people that you haven't talked to in a while, like I kind of have myself, to people that I haven't talked to in years or months, and just to say hi, catch up with them, and stuff like that. Not that there was beef, but just lives go that way. So,
well, I tip my hat to Shaq, because there was heat back in the day. That was the reason why there was no Kobe and Shaq anymore, because their egos at the time, and obviously one had to go. So for him to man up and shoot it straight and say what he had to say, my hat's off to Shaq. Shaq kept it real. Like at the end of the day, it's just basketball, and friendship is valued a lot more than the sport itself. So, I give my props to Shaq. Shaq is also, like one of my all-time favorites in the league. He's my favorite center of all time. But to make amends with Kobe and say what he had to say, that's a lot of respect, and definitely earned it in my eyes. So.
Yeah, it definitely was touching. Other analysts, ESPN, or other networks talking on, reflecting on Kobe Bryant and everything that they took from him in his life and his career and otherwise. So I just wanted to bring it up here as yes, this is an NFL podcast. We can talk about other sports as well. But with that, with about an hour content here for Talking Packers with Steve, we'll say adieu. We'll be back next week to review the Super Bowl and be our final episode of the season, of course. Then after that, I'll be taking a hiatus for this show, at least, until we get to the draft, NFL draft in April around my birthday. So looking forward to coming back at that point. But before I continue to promote my own self, let's let the others and our great guests put themselves over, promote themselves so they can find them on social media, YouTube, and other places. We'll start with Chris.
Uh,
Who's that guy?
anyways, thanks for inviting me to the show, Steve. I really appreciate it, man. I don't do a lot of these. I'm actually fixing to get back into doing them. But if anybody wants to subscribe to my YouTube, I'm trying to get that up and going right now. So the Chris Matthews page, I'm gonna have all content from events that I'm gonna be attending. Everything that I'm gonna be doing. I'm probably gonna start doing some of my own live streams and things of that nature. And you guys feel free to check me out anytime. I go by the chosen one, Chris Matthews. If anybody's in the Florida, Alabama, Mississippi area that watches this show, if you guys want to see some hard knock, action-packed wrestling, come check out any events in the area, and you'll pretty much see me there.
Good. Real deal, Jaden Steele.
Well, it ain't no shocker to anybody that's like watched Steve's channel. Steve's blissfully given me opportunity after opportunity to come onto this show, and I can't thank you enough. I love showing up, whether it's sports talk or whether it's wrestling. I love being here. Of course, I'm Jaden Steele. Check out my YouTube channel under Jaden Steele. You can type in the real deal. I'll pull up too. You can even Google me. I'll pop right up on there. I got all my stuff on there, from interviews to podcasts to magazine covers, all the way down to my YouTube channel. We're at the 1350 mark on my YouTube for subs. I'm trying to get to that 2,000. That's my goal right now. Follow me on Instagram at rdjsteele or Twitter at rdjadensteele. Like I said, you can just type in Jaden Steele on Google. I'll pull right up. You'll see all my handles right there. Anybody from sports all the way down to wrestling fans, I would love to have you over there on my channel. I got to give credit to Steve over here for allowing us the opportunity to be on here. We got great stuff coming up. We've upgraded quality and equipment. So now we're going to the 1080p with all the flashy cameras and stuff. So everybody that's bared with me on my channel so far, thank y'all. It's been one hell of a journey. The monetization finally got real. And then just, stay on the flip side, because, Chris Matthews and Jaden Steele, we hook up here and there in the ring, and, they've been wanting to see us tag lately. So you might not know where we might tread, because the other one doesn't go too far from the other. So big surprises in store. More WWE appearances are coming this year.
Ooh.
And hopefully more titles, and staying safe and just doing what I love to do, living life and breathing with a, air full of lungs here. So
Sure.
It would definitely be awesome to see you guys both in regards to being part of a show. If you guys are both able to come to here to the Badger State, to Wisconsin, if that ever does present for your guys' self. But
I just need to know the promotions of the promoters. Anybody out there listening, if you got any kind of independent wrestling around that area, Jaden Steele and Chris Matthews are all about it. We travel, so this is what we do. We go down the road and we steal the show. We make moments. So,
Sir, you never know, Steve. Never know where you're gonna see us.
there you go. And of course, for myself, you're welcome to follow me on Twitter for the show at talking_Packers. Again, that's at talking_Packers. Or you can find me on my personal handle at army_strong_06. You can find me, there it is, on the gram, on Instagram at Stephen K _06 now. At Stephen K _06. Or you can find me on Snapchat at Stevie K _06 as well. And as I always usually do, promote the next Whodunit game. For those that don't know Whodunit, just Google it. They did have one season on ABC, but we do play games on Twitter. So the next game, Whodunit Double Vision Season 2, coming back on Twitter late February, hopefully to be part of that cast and try to be the winner there. So I thank Jaden Steele, and I do thank Chris Matthews for being here. And I thank everybody watching live or archived otherwise. Of course, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Leave a comment in the comment section below. My next video I'll be doing will be a review of some TV shows. And then on Saturday afternoon, me and a female guest will be doing Steve's Wrestling Ramble, going over the Royal Rumble and other wrestling news. I see Jaden had his hand up like we're in school. What would you like to finish?
I just wanna make sure, I got the Steel Reserve out there. I know you guys watch this stuff. Y'all follow me everywhere. Help this man out and sub and follow his social handles. This man deserves it. He's busted his ass for the longest time. So as a favor from Jaden Steele to my Steel Reserve, follow this man, please.
Yes, sir.
I have been in the podcasting game for 10 years, so I've been on YouTube for 3, but anyways, yeah, thank you, and I appreciate. Hopefully, everybody does do so. And like I said, if you also want to ring the bell and know when I go live with the very next video, welcome to do that as well. So I thank everybody, and hope everybody has a great rest of your day. I'll see you all in the next video, and above all else, as always, take care.
Real recognizes real, baby.